This is a true love story, told by the people who lived it on their wedding day. From Hollywood, we present Bride and Groom, with your master of ceremonies, John Nelson.
Thank you, Jack. Good afternoon. Well, I'm just wondering if our bride of today should not have studied engineering rather than nursing. It was she who engineered the romance, or at least set the wheels of romance in motion. Seems that she and the purser of the ship on an Alaskan vacation trip she'd taken became very conscious of one another during the cruise, but because of regulations exchanged little conversation, but of course their eyes spoke volumes when they met. Now, as has happened to many another boy and girl under such conditions, they could have parted never to see one another again. And this is where the engineering comes in. For our bride, with the help of her diary, came up with a tactical maneuver that's deserving of at least a page or two on how to get your man. However, in this case, the man, our groom, was more than willing to go along. It's a story full of warmth, romantic excitement, and tender appeal. The attractive young couple who lived it will join us just before they leave for the country church of Hollywood to bring it to a very happy ending in marriage. Now, our smiling and very lovely bride, her groom, and their attendants are joining us. Our bride's gown is colonial period and fashioned of palest pink Skinner's bridal satin. It has a sweetheart off-the-shoulder neckline lined with deep ruffles of Chantilly lace and long sleeves that point over her hands. The basque bodice is fitted and the full gathered skirt extends into a long train. Her illusion veil is attached to a band of orange blossoms. The matron of honor's gown is deeper pink organza. The groom and best man are in summer formal attire. Like to meet a very pretty bride. She's Miss Margaret Turgeon, spelled T-U-R-G-E-O-N. Her groom is Mr. Ralph Johnston. And Margaret, you're a very pretty bride indeed.
Thank you, John.
And a very happy one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my. Tell us about you, Margaret, please.
Well, I'm 23, and I'm 5 feet 5.5 inches tall. I weigh about 130.
You have brown hair and brown eyes.
Brown hair and brown eyes.
Where were you born?
I was born in Oakland, California.
How many in your family?
There are 4. I have an older brother, Lynn, and my parents, and they're all here today, which makes me very happy.
Yes, indeed. They look kind of happy. That's the family down there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Your father's wringing his hand. Kind of traditional, I guess. Father the bride or something. Where did you go to school? In Oakland?
No, I was raised on a ranch about 70 miles south of Oakland, near the small town of San Martin. And I went to high school in Morgan Hill, which is nearby, and graduated from Salinas Junior College in 1945. And I graduated from nurses training, Merritt Hospital in Oakland in 1948.
Are you a nurse?
I'm a nurse.
Are you working at it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Ralph over is going to need first aid any minute. So. How about that, Ralph?
Well, I'm 23. I was born in Fairview, Montana. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. One sister is here today, and my mother is here today. I attended Broadway High School in Seattle. I then went into the Navy. I was discharged in July of 1946. Since then, I've been attending the University of Washington, working summers as an assistant purser with the Alaska Steamship Company.
What's your major in?
Electrical engineering.
Good.
Specializing in electronics.
When do you graduate?
I will graduate next June.
How old did you say you were?
23.
And let's see, you're what, about 5'9", 5'8"?
I'm 5'7.5", weigh about 170.
Brown hair and what, green?
Brown hair and hazel eyes.
Hazel eyes. I guess that's all we need to know. Margaret, I understand you had a little bit more to do with activating, motivating, or what's the electronic thing? Making this kinetic or something?
I guess so. I'm so excited I couldn't tell you anything about electronics now.
At the university 3 years, he doesn't even know what subject he's taking. Margaret, tell me where and when you two first met.
Well, as I say, we graduated from training.
We?
Oh. I guess I mean my very best friend and roommate, Marjorie Reinhardt, who is my matron of honor today.
The two of you graduated?
Mm-hmm.
And?
We were best friends. And as a graduation present, we went on a 17-day cruise to Alaska, accompanied by Marge's folks and another couple.
And to put it together, I think that somebody named Ralph worked on the Alaska steamship line as an assistant purser. Is that right?
That's right.
What was the name of the ship?
The SS Baranov.
Never forget.
No.
This is what year? 48 you said you graduated?
August of 48, uh-huh.
Now tell me about the trip. Romantic nights with Ralph?
Oh, no.
Good ad for the Alaska steamship company.
Not with Ralph. I was definitely attracted to Ralph, but
You saw him and met
I
him?
thought, well, you see, our stateroom was in a very strategic location. We had to pass the purser's office in order to get to and from our room. And on the many trips to my room, I noticed one purser in particular. And that was Ralph.
And so did you rush in and say, I've lost my key or something wrong? Isn't that what usually happens, Ralph?
Well, usually, but
Yes.
she wasn't quite that aggressive.
Not quite. I don't know what you mean. Let's find out.
No, as a matter of fact, we spoke to each other exactly twice on the whole trip.
What did you
17
say?
days. Oh, I think it was a beautiful day when I... a very unusual day up in Alaska. Very beautiful and very casual conversation.
Were you introduced?
Oh, no.
Did you-
No, never...
Did he say his name or say, I'm...
Oh, no.
Did you find out his name?
Yes, one of the other pursers was very helpful.
That Alaska Steamship Company really has fine service. So, you learned his name, but you didn't meet him during the whole trip.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Well, how in the world did you two get together again?
Well, let's see. After we were home...
You and your girlfriend came back home.
uh-huh. And we started working nights at our home hospital, Merritt Hospital in Oakland. And we were still very excited about the trip. And I did quite a lot of research on Alaska. And I noticed that when I was comprising my scrapbook and photo album, I had done something terrible. I neglected to have a picture of my favorite purser. I had pictures of everyone else I wanted to remember, but I didn't have one of Ralph.
Well, of course, you hadn't even met him, so it'd be pretty hard to get a picture.
That's right. Well, I had a camera, you see. I took pictures of
Everybody except Ralph.
nearly everyone, well, that I wanted to remember.
I think I begin to see the plot thicken. What did you do, as if I didn't know, Margaret?
I was stumped.
But not for long, I'll
But
bet.
not for long. You see, in one of our conversations aboard ship, I had remembered that he was attending the University of Washington.
He told you that much?
I think he told me.
Either that or the other person.
That's
that you
right.
asked about,
Uh-huh.
yes.
I think probably the other one did. So, all I knew was his name and that he was going to the University of Washington. So, just taking a long chance, I wrote a letter to him in care of the university.
Now, wait just a second, Ralph. You received a letter from a strange young lady. Now, tell me about your reception of the letter, who you thought it was, and so on.
She wasn't very strange.
You noticed her, too?
Oh, definitely.
Pursers were quite busy.
Well, pursers were, but I kept my eye on her. She was very attractive and seemed so much different than most of the gals that travel on
How
the
do you
ship.
know? You'd never even talked to her.
Oh, I watched her actions and how she behaved with other people and how
Furthermore,
she dressed.
Yeah,
and-
furthermore, she didn't come up and say, I'm a passenger, and I just wonder what to do, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
I've traveled a little on the steamship.
And when I received her letter, I knew who it was, and I was rather hesitant about answering. I wanted to, but,
How long did you wait before you answered?
well, it was about 3 weeks. It took me that long to compose a letter.
Too.
Beg pardon?
It took me about that long, too. I didn't know how to start the letter.
Well, he sent you the photograph?
Oh.
Well, it was that time of year when we have a little rain in Washington, and I didn't think I had a suitable one, so we waited. I told her I would send one as soon as weather conditions permitted taking one, and in the meantime, I wouldn't mind being surprised again. And
By a photograph of her.
Oh, photograph and letters.
So you started writing then?
We started writing then.
How frequently?
Oh, about once a week then. It was a little slow the first couple of letters, and once a week. And
first the letters were just friendly.
Oh, just friendly
No
letters.
information about Alaska.
Oh, we talked about Alaska, and we talked about our families and interests and so forth.
How long before the letters got a little bit more than friendly, Ralph?
Oh, about January, February
And this
1949.
was October, you said?
October when I received the first
So about
letter.
3 months, the letters got a little more than friendly. When did you first meet your young lady again, Mark?
Well, early in April, I just thought I had to make a trip to Oakland to see Margaret. And so I wrote, and she didn't think I should come down. She thought I may be disappointed.
Maybe. I was awfully worried.
Well, at any rate, you weren't disappointed, and you did show up.
Yes, I finally convinced her I should go. Came time for going, and I started getting nervous, and it took some convincing on the part of my sister.
I know what you mean. Well, how many days did you spend with Margaret?
Well, we spent 3 days together. She had to work the first 2 nights, so we just spent the afternoons getting acquainted.
You had one date?
And then the third night we had one date. We attended the Ice Follies in San Francisco.
And that was the only date?
That was the only date that we had during the 3 days.
Now, let me ask you, did you make much progress during these 3 days, Margaret? Well, that's a very reasonable question.
Yes, I think you did very well under the circumstances,
Did he try to
John.
kiss you?
Well, we...
Well, let me put it this way. Did you kiss her?
Yes, I did.
There for a minute.
We had dinner in her apartment the first night with her friend Marjorie, and Marjorie conveniently left, and we talked that evening.
Did Marjorie have other plans?
Oh, I think she did.
No, you probably helped her arrange them.
No.
But if you didn't, I certainly think you should
Well,
have.
she's very considerate.
Oh, sure.
Mhm.
Did you tell her you loved her during these 3 days?
Oh, about the third date.
You said
About
I'm-
this first kiss, she...
Well, you don't have to explain.
I got ready for work, and she drove me to the Shattuck Hotel in Berkeley, and we had our first kiss the first
It was a
night.
good night kiss.
Mhm.
Just a good night.
Yeah, just a good night.
Just a good night kiss, but look what it led to. Now, wait a minute. Now, I want to find out something else. Now, you two were separated after these 3 dates. For how long?
3 months.
Did you write regularly then?
Oh, yes.
And the letters were much more than friendly.
Oh, yes, they were much more than friendly and much oftener than once a week.
And any mention of marriage in these letters?
No, nothing of that. We definitely made plans to meet again in September
Of 49.
of 49, after I got back from sea and before I started school.
And did you meet again
We certainly did.
in September?
In September.
For how many days?
We had 5 days that time, and we first started talking about marriage in a very casual way, and before we knew it, we were talking about our home and our children and so forth.
Was it during this 5-day period he proposed, Maya?
Oh, no. Oh, no. We weren't at that point yet.
Well, you were talking about your home and your children, and that seems like a pretty good point to this question.
You see, Marjorie and I had other plans. And it didn't concern man either.
What were they? To take another trip to Alaska?
No, not to Alaska. We were pretty adventurous. We wanted to go back east and work for a while. And
Did you go back east?
Oh, yes.
You
Mm-hmm.
made the trip?
We made the trip in January of this year.
And when did you see Ralph again?
I saw him after September.
Yes.
I saw him again 2 days after Christmas, the 27th.
And how many days did you spend together then?
We had 6 wonderful days together then.
Did you mention marriage during this time?
Oh, we both mentioned marriage.
When did he ask you? Describe the scene and tell me when he really popped the question.
Well,
I tell you what, you tell me where it was, and then I want to reconstruct the conversation.
we were at my folks' ranch.
And you two were alone?
We were alone.
They were all gone.
Everyone
They
was-
all had other plans. I don't understand.
Very conveniently, they had other plans.
So you two were alone. Were you in the Davenport?
Yes, we were in the
Did your
living
arm
room.
around her?
Oh, yes.
How did the conversation go? You tell me what you said, and then Ralph, you tell me what you said. Now, we're on the Davenport, arm around each other, head to head, lights are down low, and how did it go? What did you say?
Yeah.
Was he talking about marriage?
Yes, we were talking about marriage in a
And
very
you-
casual
And what did
way.
you say?
I don't know, I said, I can't possibly marry you, Ralph. After all, you haven't really asked me yet.
And then you said?
Well, that first phrase almost gave me heart failure.
I can't possibly marry you, Ralph?
Boy, I just almost keeled over then.
And then you said why, and she said because you hadn't asked me. And then what did you say?
Well, I very promptly asked her.
You said, will you marry me? And you said,
Oh, yes, darling.
I've been thinking about this since 1948, and now he asked me. For an electrical engineer, you did a really fine job, and I just wanted to... Where are you going to make your home? Seattle now?
We're making our home in Seattle.
Apartment or home?
Apartment.
Fine, let's put some nice things in that apartment. You step right over here, and we'll start off with something very nice for our bride and groom, a personal gift for our bride, a lovely sterling silver dresser set, and for our groom, a matching sterling silver military brush set. Gifts from the makers of popular Lady Ellen pin curl clips. Very, very beautiful gifts indeed.
Well, here's something an electrical engineer can use, John. It's from the Gelman Manufacturing Company of Rock Island, Illinois, a Sew-Gem table model sewing machine with Susie, the miracle rotary stitcher, guaranteed not to lock, clog, or jam. It's a grand gift they'll both enjoy.
You betcha. This is the wedding album from Bernard of Hollywood and Palm Springs, our famous society photographer. Formal portraits and candid shots of everything that goes on here to keep those memories alive and fresh, and also a capsule record album with your entire love story, just as you told it, recorded for all time to come.
Now they're place setting in sterling silver from Gorham, America's leading silversmith since 1831. Here are four of Gorham's many patterns: Lyric, Chantilly, Lily of the Valley, and Strasbourg.
Well, those are beautiful indeed, Jack. For those cold Seattle winter nights, 2 satin-finished Westinghouse electric comforters with a Westinghouse automatic Watchman control, and for your home, during those same days, wherever you go, here's the Travelette model Desert Air lamp, complete with a strong, light-weight traveling case. You'll enjoy the best of health with this Desert Air lamp, and you'll look healthy, too.
Well, here's something our bride will love, a beautiful 1950 Tappan gas range.
The very best in the world.
The Visualite oven, exclusive tell-you-set timer, takes the guesswork out of cooking. It's easy to clean. Even our groom can keep the Tappan clean.
You bet. We arranged a wonderful honeymoon for you youngsters. Today, you will drive a beautiful Chrysler Windsor convertible north along the historic El Camino Real to your honeymoon destination, the famous Circle Bar B Guest Ranch. Located in picturesque Refugio Canyon above Santa Barbara, California, the Circle Bar B is a honeymooner's paradise. It's a lovely cottage just for young people like you, set in the privacy of a nearby grove of olive trees. It's secluded and has a large fireplace that I know you'll enjoy in the evenings. The Circle Bar B is located in beautiful Los Padres National Forest. It's a wonderful place for outdoor sports, too, swimming, riding, or just relaxing. Your hostess for your stay will be Mrs. Florence Brown, a true native daughter of the Golden West and an exponent of the finest traditions of Western hospitality. For a bride, here's a bouquet of round arm arrangement of white carnations in the Vardy, the inserted corsage, one large purple Ozello orchid. Matron Warner's bouquet is of pink briar-tip roses tied with matching satin. John Patrick Burke, responsible for these lovely bouquets. Yes, sir, and you are?
Warren Ferguson from Seattle.
In the relationship?
Friend of the best man.
Are you?
Friend of the groom.
And you, please?
Mrs. Marjorie Reinhardt, friend of the bride.
No relation?
No.
Are you a roommate?
Roommate.
Oh, well, at last we settled it. Well, for the best man, the bride's wedding band, it has a double row of diamonds exquisitely mounted. It's a keepsake diamond ring. Won the Fashion Academy Award for 1950, and matching it a plain gold band, also a keepsake ring. Do you have on something old?
Yes, sir.
New? Mm-hmm. Borrowed? Mm-hmm. Blue? And a penny shoe? No blue?
Blue. Penny.
Yes, Jack?
I'm mighty happy to do this for he was a purser. What was the name of the boat?
The SS...
Fair enough.
Well, just by coincidence, John Nelson and I used to be pursers on boats that ran from Seattle up to Alaska. The U.S. Smirnoff, wasn't it, John?
Smirnoff, yeah. SS Smirnoff.
But after becoming a purser, I became interested in electrical engineering, though,
Yes,
John. And I designed something that I'm quite proud of, and I'm going to present it to our bride today.
Yes, sir.
It's a blue garter wired for neon.
A blue garter wired for neon?
Yeah, and it lights up. Here's the garter right here.
I think Jack McElroy tore to the marquee off at Grauman's Chinese, but here's the smoke. Take this, honey. Let's have the bouquet. Come on, Jack. All right, fellow pursers. Right, center, forward, up, two. How you doing? Oh, all set. And your love song?
Through the years.
You take this bouquet, and through the years it'll be. Now, as our bride and groom in the wedding party leave us to go to the country church of Hollywood where their friends, their family, and their clergymen wait, Jack McElroy sings, Wayne Reeves plays their love song.
Through the years, I'll take my place beside you, smiling through the years. Through your tears, I'll keep my place beside you, smiling through your tears. Through the night, I'll be a star to guide you, shining bright, though clouds may come and hide you. Through the years, till love is gone, and the time first disappears.